Hi everyone, welcome to Falcon's House. This is going to be a new style of content for me where I talk about the upcoming NBA basketball season. I am a Thunder fan, so the content will reflect that, though I will try to remain unbiased. The Thunder's roster has changed significantly since last year, starting off with trading for Paul George, signing Raymond Felton and Patrick Patterson, and then recently trading for Carmelo Anthony. All these changes will mean that the games will not just be on Westbrook's shoulders. The first thing that I want to cover in this series is the potential rotations and minute allocation. I expect that the starters will be Westbrook, Robertson, George, Anthony, and Adams, with a bench of Felton, Abrines, Patterson, Grant, Johnson. Starting off in the first quarter, all the starters will play until there are 6 minutes remaining. Then Melo will sub out for Patrick Patterson. With 4 minutes remaining, Adams subs out for Dakari Johnson. Paul George subs out for Abrines. With 2:30 remaining, Westbrook will do his normal sub out for Felton, and Robertson will sub out for Melo. In the second quarter, Patrick Patterson will sub out for George right at the beginning of the quarter. With 10 minutes remaining, Melo will sub out for Grant. With 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, Felton subs out for Westbrook, George subs out for Patrick Patterson, and Johnson subs out for Adams. With 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter, Grant will sub out for Melo, Patrick Patterson will sub out for George, and Abrines will sub out for Robertson. So this brings us to a first half minute totals of Westbrook with 18 minutes, Robertson with 15.5 minutes, George with 17.5 minutes, Anthony with 16.5 minutes, Adam with 16.5, Patrick Patterson with 9.5, Abrines with 10, Felton with 6.5, Grant with 4, and Johnson with 7.5. In the third quarter, it'll follow much like the first quarter, with all starters playing until 6 minutes remaining. Then Carmelo Anthony will sub out for Patrick Patterson. With 4 minutes remaining, Adams will sub out for Johnson. Paul George subs out for Abrines. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, Westbrook will sub out for Felton. Robertson subs out for Melo. The fourth quarter, there's going to be a few options depending on the score. If it's up by 20, Carmelo Anthony will sub out for Ferguson right away and will just run a complete bench lineup. If we're up between 10 and 19 points, Patrick Patterson will sub out for George, and 10 minutes remaining, Carmelo Anthony will sub out for Grant. Felton will sub out for Westbrook at 8:30, along with George subbing out for Patrick Patterson and Johnson subbing out for Adams. With 6 minutes remaining, Grant subs out for Carmelo Anthony, Patrick subs out for George, and Abrines subs out for Robertson. And if we're still maintaining that lead, with 2 minutes remaining, the remaining starters will sub out for bench. If we are up by less than 10 points, Patrick Patterson will sub out for George at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And with 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, Felton subs out for Westbrook and Johnson subs out for Adams. And 6 minutes remaining, Abrines subs out for Robertson. The big change here is that Carmelo Anthony does not sub out at all and he stays in the game. If we are behind, Patrick Patterson subs out for George at the beginning of the quarter, and at the 10-minute mark, Felton subs out for Westbrook and Johnson subs out for Adams, and we run a higher scoring offense with Abrines staying in, Carmelo Anthony staying in. So the game total minutes, Westbrook, if he sat out the whole fourth, will have the least. So Westbrook will be between 27.5 and 37.5 minutes. Robertson will get between 25 and 31 minutes. George will get between 25.5 and 37.5 minutes. Anthony, 25 to 37 minutes. Adams with 24.5 to 33. Felton, 10.5 to 22.5. Abrines, 14 to 20. Grant, 4 to 8. Johnson, 15 to 23.5 minutes. Ferguson, 0 to 12 minutes. The reason why I think this is the likely rotation is that it minimizes the time when There are only 1 star on the floor and no point where all 3 stars are sitting. There will be 5 minutes a game when Carmelo Anthony is the only star, 5 minutes a game when Russ is by himself, and only 3 minutes a game when George is by himself. And they can play most of the fourth quarter together if the game is close or that we are behind. And here is some 2K footage.
Not sure how people underestimate continually how great Chris Paul has been. 6 cents kind of stuff there, knowing where his teammate was.
For 3, Westbrook. That one falls coming off Anthony's feet. 6 points for Russell Westbrook.
And defensively, this is a nightmare. He's already on a roll.
I love his will, his take-charge attitude, the aggressiveness, all of that showing up here in the first.
Now, here's Ariza. Adams brings the double team. Here's Harden. Knocked away. It's stolen by Adams. Anthony with it. He's picked up by Ariza. Anthony's shot is off.
The defense was solid there, smothering him close inside, and that's how you want to guard him.
Ariza kicks to Harden. It's Ariza on the wing. Defended by George. Anderson a screen on Anthony. Here's Ariza. And no good. George with the defensive effort. Paul with the steal. Harden with it. Paul outside. The tray. It's hauled in by Adams. The Thunder with the lead. Outside for George. Oklahoma City moving it around. Westbrook passes to Carmelo. Back to Westbrook. Pass to Roberson. For 3. Rockets with the rebound. Cabela's got his 3rd rebound on the night. Ball against Westbrook. Shot on the wing. Paul can't get that one to fall.
I still love the shot selection. The defense wasn't really a factor. Need to be more aggressive guarding the mid-range.
Roberson dishes to Adams. Outside Westbrook. Fires for 3. The shot is good. And so is his shooting tonight. 3 for 4. Rockets trail by 5.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets. Steven Adams brings a lot to the team. Brent got a chance to be more involved, in fact, with the offense after Durant left.
Well, he's not a wispy 7-footer, Kevin. Thick and rugged out there on the floor and willing to set a lot of screens to free up Russell Westbrook. One of the things I'd like to see them do is maybe explore him in the post a little more often as an offensive threat. I think he's capable down there.
And that one drops for him.
Look at the intensity of Nene, one of the strongest guys in the game. Phenomenal at scoring the ball inside.
And George kicks to Abrinas. Off target with his 3. And that'll be Oklahoma City's ball as it goes out of bounds. The Thunder leading by 3. And here's George for 3. And the rebound goes to Nene. Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. Over in the corner, Paul. Shot by Gordon, wide open. Gordon with another miss. Grant gets a wide open look. And again, Oklahoma City, no good. Outside Gordon. Can't tie it up as that one's no good. At the end of one, a closely contested